March 11th, 2011. A massive earthquake in the Pacific Ocean struck off the coast of the Tohoku region of Japan. The ensuing tsunami caused extensive damage along the coastline of Iwate, Miyagi, and Fukushima. This unprecedented catastrophe led to an overseas rescue team rushing to the scene to carry out searches. Ambassadors and high government officials from various countries also rushed to offer emergency care for the children. 10 years after the earthquake, the children and young people of the time are now working on the front lines of society.
みんな心細い気持ちの中でいろんなところから助けに来ていただいたっていうのは被災した人たちにとって大きな希望だったと思うので本当に感謝の気持ちでいっぱいです。
賑やかな村になってほしいなと、明日を楽しみに迎えられるような地域を目指していければなとは思うんですね。
In 2017, with the upcoming Tokyo Olympic and Paralympic Games, the government of Japan launched the Arigato Host Town initiative for local municipalities struck by the disaster. Arigato is a word that expresses your gratitude. Arigato host towns accept athletes and have various exchanges with their partner countries and regions. 32 local municipalities in the 3 prefectures of Iwate, Miyagi, and Fukushima are taking part in this initiative to encourage exchanges aimed at the future. This program will focus on the deepening of ties with the people from overseas who provided support, while striving to restore vitality in the region. Ofunato City faces the Pacific Ocean in southern Iwate Prefecture. It's a scenic town blessed with a wealth of nature. Ofunato City was registered as an Arigato host town for the US. Exchanges have continued through sports and culture. The Great East Japan earthquake. The size of the tsunami that struck Ofunato was beyond imagination, causing unprecedented damage. This is the Ofunato Fire Department. The year before the earthquake, Chiba Yoshihiro underwent training at a specialized agency in the US to learn about rescuing people in major disasters. On the day of the earthquake, he was scheduled to travel to the US for his second training session.
オフナトの海を見るモニターがあるんですけども、そこに津波がこう来てる映像が見えまして、でそのカメラごと津波にかぶってあとは見えなくなったということで、もう停電になったので、これはまあかなり大きな地震津波が来たなということをすぐ把握して、情報を集めるとともに、私たちの消防ではもう対応しきれないということで、すぐに救援体制の方を立ち上げて、そのような活動になりました。
2 days after the earthquake, a team of 140 people, including rescue dogs, was dispatched by USAID, an organization providing international disaster relief. One of their leaders was Larry Collins, who at the time was the battalion chief of the Los Angeles County Fire Department. He was an expert in search and rescue operations, with experience dealing with major disasters throughout the world.
We were trying to get there and get in place as soon as possible because we knew really time was of the essence. We knew our job is to get in there and go to the assigned areas and start trying to find people who might be trapped alive still.
Yoshihiro predicted the potential state of damage at places where people may have been at the time of the earthquake and noted everything on a map. He then interviewed the local residents with the U.S. rescuers on site to ascertain which search areas to prioritize.
その時間帯にどこにどのようなくらいの人数がいたのかとか、 津波はどっち方向から来てどっち方向に流れていったのかというふうな情報などを事細かに地域のその辺の方の住民から情報を収集して、
This allowed search and rescue operations to be carried out after identifying areas that had been hit particularly hard in the center of the city.
そこをやっていたことによって他の地域のところに、逆に違うところから手を伸ばせたということもあって、早めに広い範囲を捜索救助できたということはすごくありがたかったなと思います。
The U.S. team consisted of rescue and medical experts, as well as engineers capable of assessing collapsed buildings, who recorded the results of their searches.
USA の2ということでロサンゼルスのチームがこの建物を捜索したということで、2011年の3月15日10時半に、この建物を捜索しております。で、生存者はゼロで亡くなっている方もゼロということで、この建物を捜索終了したということで書かれております。で、救助犬内で救助犬が入って一緒に捜索したということも書かれております。発生から72時間がその人を助けるキーワードの時間になってます。ただその最後の会議の時にも話したんですけども、必要があればもう一日やってもいいよということ、それを常に言われてました。私たちも、この方たちがいなくなればあとは自分たちでやるしかないので、そういう不安が大きいからこそ活動してくれた時に、ありがとうということをちょっと言えることができなくて。
5 years after the earthquake, Yoshihiro traveled to Los Angeles. It was to attend a memorial service for the victims of the earthquake, organized by the local Japanese community. There, he was reunited with Larry, who was also invited to the event.
ありがとうという言葉は直接伝えられたので、本当に言ってよかったかなと思いました。
And that was amazing to see him in Los Angeles and be able to give him a big hug and have a warm reception like that. And we really have a deep affinity for our firefighter colleagues in Japan. It's a great, like a handshake across the ocean.
In Ofunato, they used land that was unaffected by the tsunami in order to rebuild the city with speed. This helped restore the daily lives of Ofunato residents. Hashimoto Riku has been working as a firefighter for the Ofunato Fire Department for 2 years. After graduating high school, he became a qualified paramedic at a medical college. He worked for a U.S. volunteer organization when he was a junior high school student at the time of the earthquake.
中学校の体育館にたくさんの避難した方がいらっしゃって、困っている人がいっぱいいる中で何かできることはないのかなっていうような気持ちを感じたのを覚えてます。ボランティア団体の方が町に来ていらっしゃったので、こちらから声をかけて参加させていただいてました。
Now, he devotes himself to acquiring cutting-edge firefighting skills, such as engaging in emergency operations inside buildings with small windows.
いろいろ困難な点もあると思うんですけれども、市民の皆さんの期待に応えられるようにですね、日々あのような形で訓練をして高めていけたらと思います。
You're in a very exciting and challenging time in the fire and rescue services and public safety. And so the people of Ofanato and Japan should really be proud of you for the efforts you're undertaking right now to make sure everyone's ready and that you're ready for the next big one that happens.
The friendship between the U.S. and Japanese firefighters has spread to the citizens, leading to matches and calligraphy events held with young baseball players from San Diego, and a fun workshop held by an American saxophonist.
いろいろ支援をいただいた方が多いので、そういうことをつながってまたいろんな分野で、新たな次の展開になっていけてるということがすごいいっぱいありまして、そういうことではすごい嬉しく感じております。
The Arigato Host Town Initiative, including Ofunato City, 13 municipalities in Iwate Prefecture are taking part in hosting people from 11 countries and regions. Iitate Village is located on a plateau in northeastern Fukushima Prefecture, bordering Miyagi Prefecture. It's a farming village where the old way of life lives on to this day. Iitate Village is the Arigato host town for Laos. Laos is located in a mountainous region on the Indo-Chinese peninsula, sandwiched between Thailand and Vietnam. Exchanges between Iitate Village and Laos began in 2009, when an NPO involved in supporting the construction of schools and education throughout Asia held a dispatch lecture at an elementary school in Iitate. They introduced the children of Laos who were having difficulty accessing education but loved to learn while helping each other out.
お互いに感じる共感するものがあるんじゃないかなというふうに思って、飯舘村の学校で僕は話をしたんですよね。それは響いたんですね。
Centered on the elementary school, a circle of support for building a school in Laos spread. A project was launched to construct a secondary school in Dongnyai village. Furthermore, the children of Iitate sent handmade picture books with English translations to Laos. Saito Hiroshi of the education department at the village office at the time was in charge of this project to donate the picture books. He supported the exchanges with Laos from the start.
ラオスには教材が少なくて、困っているという話を聞いていて、英語の翻訳された絵本を英語の授業で活用していただいて、それを何ですかね、一応交流というような形でやらさせてもらったという形です。
Harada Tomo was in his third year at junior high school when he took part in this project. He now works at the village office.
渡す側として気をつけていたのは、翻訳することが目的ではないっていうことですかね。それをお渡しして読んでもらって、その読んだ子どもたち、もしくは大人かもしれませんが、その子たちが笑顔になれるようなというか、こういう話なんだって言って笑ってくれるようなものになればいいなと思って、作っていましたね。
The picture books made by the children of Iitate were delivered to Laos by Hiroshi in person.
最初の印象がすごく強かったのではないかなというふうにキラキラして目が輝かせていたので、とても良かったのかなと思いました。はい、ラオスの子供たちを思って、それを思いやって英語を翻訳したということで、その人を思いやる気持ちとか、そういうのも醸成されたのかなというふうには思いますね。はい、
But the Great East Japan earthquake struck a month after the visit. It was just as the secondary school in Dongnyai was nearing completion. The people of Dongnyai prayed for Iitate village and sent messages of support. At the time, Hirose Kaname had been visiting Laos to promote exchanges between the children as the person in charge of the education department of Iitate village.
交流は一方的になるだろうというふうに思ってたんですよね。ところが義援金を集めて、子どもたちの本当の思いなんでしょうね。集めて飯舘村に送ってくれたんですけども、これは本当に涙が出るぐらい嬉しかったですね。
Then, a year after the earthquake in 2012, the secondary school was completed in Dongyai. After that, the ties between Laos grew deeper, and preparations were made centered on the children to host athletes during the Tokyo Olympic and Paralympic Games. 10 years after the earthquake, the village is on the verge of recovering. A preliminary camp was organized in 2019, hosting Paralympic swimmers from Laos. In December 2020, an online meeting with the athletes of Laos was held in preparation for the Tokyo Olympic and Paralympic Games, which were postponed due to COVID-19.
次に行きたいところは雪が降っているところで。
田んぼをご案内します。
持ってきてくれた。ほら、スノーマン。今日は
実感を持ってこうつながれるっていうか、村とつながれるような流れを作れば最高だなと思いますね。飯舘村もふるさとだっていうふうにこう実感してもらえるのが、ラオスとの交流事業の大きな意義の一つでもあるのかなっていうふうには思います。
The Arigato Host Town Initiative, including Iitate Village, 11 municipalities in Fukushima Prefecture are taking part in hosting people from 12 countries and regions. Higashi Matsushima City in central Miyagi Prefecture faces the Pacific Ocean. Water flows off the mountains, and the wealth of minerals nurtures a bountiful ocean. Higashi Matsushima City was registered as an Arigato host town for Denmark in 2017. Denmark is located in northern Europe and is known as a major agricultural country. The deep ties between Denmark and Higashi Matsushima became apparent immediately after the earthquake. 3 weeks after the earthquake, His Excellency, Ambassador Melvin from Denmark at the time, rushed to Higashi Matsushima's rescue. The ambassador provided financial aid and donated sets of Lego, a toy from Denmark. After that, His Royal Highness Crown Prince Frederick of Denmark collected donations from companies in Denmark and visited the city twice. He showed particular interest in providing support to the children of the disaster-stricken region. Sakai Shogo played with the Lego sets that had been donated at the time. He is now in his 3rd year at junior high school and remembers the visit by His Royal Highness.
デンマークの皇太子さんにみんなで新聞紙で作った兜をあげたことが覚えてます。
At the time, His Royal Highness wore a polo shirt with the national flag of Japan and the word Kibo embroidered on it. Kibo means hope. Later, the word Kibo spread among city office employees, and polo shirts with the word hope printed on them were worn during the restoration of the city. The town is still recovering, but people are now looking to the future in their renewed determination to recover.
デンマークの皇太子さんが来てくれたことで、 保育所のみんなにもなんかゆとりができたというかと思いますし、今度はなんか日本側が日本の、僕たちがデンマークの人たちに恩返しをしなければならないなと思いました。
I commend the resilience that you have shown in moving only in 10 years from a situation where the whole city was destroyed to a vibrant society that you have now. We will continue working with the city to nurture the strong relations we already have.
New ties are being formed to deepen the existing relationship with Denmark. They involve nori, a type of seaweed. Its cultivation is one of the key industries of Higashi Matsushima. Aizawa Futoshi is a third-generation nori farmer. Nets are seeded with nori spores, which are cultivated underwater and harvested from fall through winter. Futoshi was working on shore when the earthquake struck, and he spent the night on a rooftop.
ちょうどね、高さが青い建物と同じくらいの高さの屋根があって、そこに逃げて助かったんですね。2、3日した時にですね、僕はその仕事はやっぱりこう海の仕事をこうやめるわけにはいかないなと思ったんですよね。
Nori, made by drying seaweed, is a healthy food that is rich in vitamins, calcium, proteins, vegetable fibers, and other nutrients. It's an indispensable food for making sushi and rice balls in Japan. Fishing is a stagnating industry, facing a lack of successors. Futoshi was concerned about the future of fishing in Japan even before the earthquake, and he began actively disseminating information.
一部だけ良くなっても漁業は良くならないし、多分日本だけ良くなっても世界は良くならないし、各地域で各世界中の地域でそのうまく自然と向き合う漁師だったり、うまく自然と向き合う一般生活者さんたちが増えないとって思ったので、その取り組み方がいろいろ変わりましたよね、やはり。
Mainly in summer during the off-season, Futoshi has been promoting the deliciousness of nori, issues surrounding the environment and food, and his dreams for the future among children and consumers.
自然の中で物を作るっていう魅力を知ってるし、それが大切だっていうのはすごいこう感じてるんで、やっぱこう食べ物をこれから先も未来の人たちも食べていかなきゃいけない状況っていうのを考えると、もっとちゃんと自然を残していかないとダメだと思うし、そういう仕組みを食べる側にも理解してもらわないと守れないし。
Higashi Matsushima and Denmark have been engaging in student exchanges through tours and homestay programs, as well as a variety of other events within the city. Then, industrial exchanges also began through the Arigato Host Town initiative. In 2018, a summer school on food was held in Denmark. The theme was thinking about the future of food from a global perspective. Futoshi, who had won recognition for his activities, was dispatched to this event from Higashi Matsushima City. It was his first overseas workshop. He witnessed the foul-smelling, turbid waters of Denmark for the first time, but he saw great potential in it.
デンマークっていうのは農業大国って言われてるくらい、農業が盛んで、農産物をたくさん作らなきゃいけないので、大地に肥料を打つんですよね。その余分な肥料が海に染み出てる そういう栄養が過多な状態の海だったんですね、僕が見た時は。
Seaweed has been absorbing carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen into the atmosphere since ancient times. It stores carbon, mitigates acidification of the ocean, and allows use as a biofuel. It has attracted attention as a solution to global warming.
余分な、窒素、リン、カリとか栄養分を海藻が吸収して、それを収穫して、あっちの人はあまりね、その海藻とか食べないので、例えばそれをバイオマスに転換するとか、そういうことをしたらいいんじゃないですかっていう話をしてきましたね。はい。
He also suggested that native seaweed could be farmed to rejuvenate the ocean naturally, making use of the ocean as a new resource, and eventually establishing a business for future generations.
海で生きて自然と向き合って、その悪くなってるスピードを感じてるんで、それをどうやってその聞く人に自分事として捉えてもらうかっていうのをすごい考えながら喋るんですけども、自分が生きてる限り将来の未来の人たちに、どういうバトンを渡せるかだと思うんですよね。
The Arigato Host Town Initiative, including Higashi Matsushima City, 8 municipalities in Miyagi Prefecture are taking part in hosting people from 8 countries and regions. Years after the earthquake, the children and young people of the time are now working on the front lines of society.
日本の東北の小さな村にはこういった人々が住んでるし、こういった取り組みをしているし、こういった綺麗な風景もあるんだよっていうことを知っていただいて、飯舘村に興味関心を寄せていただければ、それだけで嬉しいことなんじゃないかなと思います。
街が綺麗になっていくと、すごい今も頑張ってくれてた、復興とかで頑張っていてくれた人たちもすごいありがたいって思うし、それを一緒に見てきた身としてはやっぱり大船渡にいてよかったなって思うのと、自分も何か貢献したいなっていう気持ちも強くなっていきます。
Arigato is a word that expresses your gratitude. The Arigato Host Town Initiative is also an expression of the determination to realize a brighter future.
We're really looking forward to being able to come actually to Ofanato and to Japan and actually see for ourselves some of the recovery that has happened there in the last 10 years, and even just meet some of the people we might have met there, like at the school we stayed in, where we set up our base of operations at one of the elementary schools. And so that'll be amazing to be back there and see the recovery that has happened.
The people of Tohoku have been given courage and hope, and through the exchanges, they have begun their journey toward the future.